now.
Ta-da! Welcome. It's Monday Night Live. Or is that supposed to be Saturday Night Live? I guess it depends what show you're watching, right?
Sure.
Hope you're all staying warm. I know some of our Texas friends have their electric back on and are getting warm back up. I know somebody in here that's in Kentucky just lost their power, so you need to be staying warm. And have a few things I want to go through before we bring out our guests from the green room. I guess that's where they are tonight, the green room. So anyway, yes, Daryl sent you an email. I don't know why it came out with just saying that because I typed it. But anyway, some of you know that some things have been happening around here. Last month, end of December, 1st of January, I don't know when it was, lost track. Somebody, I'm assuming somebody, turned us into YouTube for apparently, possibly cheating, buying subscribers. We have no idea.
Buying subscribers, clicking on our own ads.
Well, we were demonetized for about 3 weeks. And I wrote to them. Once you write to them, you have to wait a month before you can write to them again. So it was in their hands. Thank you, Kathy. I want a little bit shorter. But anyway, so some of that, I don't know who did it. There have been things said from fellow homesteader. So we'll leave that at that. But that's been taken care of. We are remonetized. All is good.
Well, the whole point of the matter is that we've had some personal attacks against us.
And then in the past couple of weeks, we had a guest on. And either before we had this guest on or after, some things have been said to other channels, other people. The guest his channel was at the time Micro Farmer. He is no longer has that channel. That he knows us and we were contractors of his. Never met the man. Never met the man in person. Before I found him on YouTube towards the end of last year, I think, and invited him for a live stream, I never saw him. I never knew him. We did some t-shirts for him. He asked us to make him some t-shirts. We did. We sent those. That was our interaction with him and having him on our live. Why he's going around saying that we were contractors of his. Why he's going around saying things about other channel folks that I know of, that I know of personally, that we're friends with. I don't know. So just watch yourself, you know.
Well, the whole point is, if anybody has any doubts out there, get a hold of us.
Yeah.
We have an email out there. We are easy to find. Mm-hmm. You can ask our guest tonight. He can find us.
He sure can. Next time, I hope there's pepperoni on that cheese pizza. But anyway, so I wanted to get that out. It's been bothering me, and I suppose it was brought to my attention that, am I going to stay a victim? And no, I'm not. Not going to happen. So that's out in the open. Let's get on with our guest. And he has a guest with him. So let's get this show on the road.
He does?
Well, that's what he posted in here, that he had a guest with him. Okay. And they had a guest. Somebody said his wife.
Like really disappoint people. I think.
Somebody said his wife.
She's hanging out here with me.
I said the cat.
I'd introduce her to everybody.
Yeah. Somebody said Toby.
Why do I just have visions
like a little mouse?
A little ventriloquist type thing.
I'm not like bringing Topo Dijo or whatever.
Sean in Alaska, you need to hear the cheese pizza story. Last year we were swatted. I don't know if everybody knows what swatted means, but somebody called our local police station and said I was killing Daryl.
Or I was killing you. I don't know which way
one
it
or
was.
the other. I'm not sure which.
We were having mass murders.
It was a Monday night show, and we had the doorbell ring, and the door is right behind me. So I got up and opened the door, and there's 2 sheriffs standing on our porch. Talk about having heart failure.
Well,
and I've already had a heart attack and open heart surgery.
Our entire house was surrounded.
Yeah, and the entire house was surrounded by sheriff's department. We lived just enough outside of town where you can call the police department, but it's the sheriff department that comes to us. Invited them in. Everybody could see them. Whoever was on our live stream that night, everybody could see them behind me. Invited them in. Just so happens that one of the sheriff was a school buddy of my youngest son. And I go, Andrew? And he goes, yes, Mrs. H, it's me. And said that somebody called the Lexington Police Department, blah, blah, blah. I go, well, we're fine. We're live on YouTube. Right there you are. So, they, apologized, told us what was going on, and they left. Well, the next night, Tuesday night, Tech Tuesday, doorbell ring again, and I was sweating bullets again.
Well, no, you have to. The person that called had made additional phone calls back in.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, so and I aired him. I figured if this guy's going to be a jerk, he's going to be a public jerk, and he was. He had a very foul mouth, which we didn't get everything bleeped out or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But our guest just felt that we probably hadn't eaten dinner or something, and so he arranged for.
Was he on Monday night? Was that our guest? He wasn't our guest Monday. No, he wasn't our guest Monday night.
No, it definitely wasn't.
No, he wasn't the guest Monday night.
No, but
he called and ordered the pizza to be delivered on Tuesday. Doorbell rang, and there stands a pizza guy at my door, and I go, we didn't order pizza. Well, I have a cheese pizza here and had our name is paid for, and I go, okay.
Yeah. So
he was in the chat, and he was dying. Yep.
And the worst of it is,
next time order pepperoni.
The worst of it is, we can't return the favor because he's so far out. I don't think
they don't have delivery where he is.
Well, anyway, we've talked enough about him.
And this is why we should go back to tar and feathering. Exactly.
We have talked enough about him.
That's right. Let's bring him on.
We have got a gentleman from New England States.
Mm-hmm.
New England States that's didn't start out as a farmer, but is turning into one quickly.
A farmer and a wonderful storyteller.
Oh, he's a fantastic storyteller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So without further ado, is that the way you do that? For further ado? What's a further ado? Is that that type of duck?
You'd have to ask him.
All right. Morgan, say hello to everybody.
Hey, guys.
You
Good
are
to be
on
here.
there.
Really excited to be hanging out tonight.
Wow. So, you say you're supposed to get a foot of snow tonight.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, it's like I'd call it like medium level storm. So, I think the big difference is I've been flipping through Instagram this afternoon, seeing folks who are down in Arkansas or Texas or Kentucky, and they're just getting hammered, and they just don't have the equipment to deal with it. But here, it'll take me probably 15 minutes with the tractor tomorrow morning to clear it all up. So it's no biggie.
Morgan, I just want to let you know that Big Bear Homestead just wanted to put out there that he likes tacos.
He likes tacos?
Yeah,
all right, let's see if I can get... I might take him up on that on a
But
Saturday
he also lives out in BFE, so just saying, we've been there.
So Morgan, I know you have this big orange tractor now, and you have this big snowblower on it, so you're getting to use it this year. Your purchase timing was very good. But I did notice that yours is a little different than most of them I've seen. Most of them have a rear-mounted snowblower.
Oh no, mine's rear-mounted. So it's a rear-mounted snowblower. So I've got a Kubota. It's a MX 6000, and snowblower mounts to the rear on the PTO, and you got a basically drive backwards with it to do this snow clearing. But no, it's a rear mounted.
Yeah, I know it is. I was just trying to mess with you here a little bit.
Well, no, because I've seen some people they actually have started to make the front mounted snow blowers, and let me tell you, I'm a little jealous. I mean, that makes life even easier, it seems like. But when you get to the bigger tractors, the rear mounts and or the front mounts with the hydraulics, I don't think they have enough power to clear the snow. Well,
I know that there's a channel out of Canada, and right now I can't think what their name is. If I come up with it, I'll send it to you. But the guy does a lot of custom stuff on Kubota tractors. Has the rear mounted blower, and he has made a custom snowplow deal that he can put on the front of his tractor with a quick connect. And so he can push with the front and snowplow with the back, and it's quite the setup. But of course, they get a lot of snow all the time. Are you in an area there where you're in what's considered to be like a snow belt area, like northeastern Ohio, for example? It gets all that lake effect snow.
So I think we're probably a little north of that. I mean, right now on our pasture, we probably have about. I just went snowshoeing yesterday. Probably have about 3 feet of snow, 2.5, 3 feet of snow on the pasture right now. The thing that happens with us is we get pretty regular ongoing snows, but the temps never really heat up all that much, and so I haven't seen the ground since probably late December. And I probably won't see the ground until mid to late April or so. So it comes and it builds up and it just keeps building up as the season goes on.
Okay.
And Jason, no, snow blowers will not work in the mud.
Although I actually saw a video of somebody made where they were using a push snowblower, and they were using it to spread wood mulch. And on one level, that seems absolutely insane, and on another level, it kind of seems genius. So I don't know. Maybe Jason's onto something.
I was going to say, don't give him any ideas. Snowshoeing, yeah. Jason is dying for snow. I mean, we have snow here. Mama Z has snow there in Texas, Louisiana, all around them. They're getting rain.
Well, Texas is having major issues.
Yep.
I don't. Did you hear, Morgan, that in Texas they were doing rolling blackouts because too much power?
So I've got a lot of folks that I work with in my day job, and they're in the Dallas area, and I've just actually been texting with them this afternoon. Half of them are without power right now. It's really tough. It's a rough situation when you're not ready for that stuff, and these temps and the weather that they've had in the last couple of days is just not what they're used to.
Well, and I'm sure that the houses down there are, your first thought process is, they don't insulate them as well as they do up here. But I don't think that's the case because of the heat. So I think they probably are just as well insulated for cooling purposes. But many of them probably don't have furnaces in.
Yeah, I know a lot of folks, they have the heat pumps, right? And when around here, we could get heat pumps, but at certain points they're just not effective.
Right.
When you get under 15 degrees or so, they don't work as well. And so a lot of folks who are down there, they have heat pumps, and those are electric driven. And if there's rolling blackouts and the temps are in the teens or lower, it's a rough situation.
Well, and Big Bear's asking, so seriously, what is snowshoeing?
So snowshoeing. So, actually for Valentine's Day, my wife Allison and I, we went for a big kind of snowshoe to walk around basically our property line around the farm. And you basically put on these shoes that...
it's kind of like a tennis racket strapped to your foot.
Yeah,
gigantic tennis rackets, sort of, even though modern snowshoes actually don't quite look like that. The old-fashioned ones do. And they let you sit and stand right on top of the snow. So even though it's about 2.5 feet of snow, we wouldn't sink all the way to the bottom. You actually can walk on top of it. It's really the only way to walk around on most of our property right now, because there's just so much snow there. It's definitely a northern thing. I see, some of the folks, Mallory from Quebec Homestead, she probably knows snowshoeing. But around here, it's either snowshoeing or cross-country skiing is the two outdoor activities you can do right now to walk around.
Yep.
Well, I know.
That's true.
I've seen pictures of your orchard, and it looks like it's all a hill. Is that pretty accurate? It's just a hillside.
Yeah, so like the way our property's set up, right? You've got like down by the road, you've got the house, then the barn area, then the area where we have like the ducks and geese and chickens and Toby lives. And then that's where the orchard starts, is it sort of slopes up, and most of the orchard is on the slope of the hill. And then once you get to the top of the hill, it's just a big open pasture. And yeah, that's actually going to be a big project of fencing I got going this summer.
We were going to talk about that here a little bit later, but I'm curious. Have you thought or considered like building a big toboggan run or something that you can just?
Actually, it's funny. So the winter before we put in the orchard, I knew that I was going to be doing a lot of work, doing a lot of digging swales and berms, and so I actually went to the top of that hill like in March of, I guess it was 2017, and like had a sled and just went down it, and it was the craziest sled ride of my life because it's a very steep hill, and just a straight shot, nothing for 100 yards on either side of me, and going down that was pretty intense. But yeah, I don't think I'd want to like open up a toboggan run on the regular. That would probably be, I don't know, more work than I'd want to deal with.
That and insurance issues.
Yeah, exactly. That too.
Yeah. Yep. Amazing what kind of idiots you can get.
Well, I figure with that Kubota, it wouldn't be that difficult to do, but maybe. So let's talk about your Kubota for a second. What made you choose a Kubota over, say, a green machine or a red machine or?
Yeah, so I really looked around, and I wanted a tractor that was big enough that would let me do a lot of the brush hogging and kind of pasture work and pasture clearing that I'm planning for this year, but also would be able to lift and move around round bales because, as we're working towards that in the cattle, my plan is, I don't want to be feeding them square bales on the regular. You can get round bales pretty easily and pretty cheaply around here. And so if I can get people making and delivering round bales to me, all I need is the ability to move it. And so the tractor was a big part of that plan. And so in the class of tractor that I wanted, like John Deere doesn't make great stuff there. It's either like the really high end stuff or it's the lower end, like lawn tractor style stuff that was there. And then when I looked at things like New Holland, it was kind of similar. Like the New Holland, like the really big New Hollands are great, but like the mid-sized New Hollands are kind of so-so. And then my buddy John Siskovich, who's a farmer down in Connecticut, he has a Mahindra, and he has never stopped cursing himself for making that decision. And so between that and the fact that I couldn't even find anybody in the area to service one, it just didn't seem like it made sense.
Right.
The Naked Gardener's asking, what got your interest in starting a YouTube channel?
So starting the YouTube channel was always a big part of the business plan for my farm. What I wanted to do was have a way to build a base of people who'd be willing to buy our farm products once we started to produce farm products on the regular. And so I figured the best way to do that would be, let's just sort of document the process of starting the farm. And by the time I have it started, there'll be people who know of our farm and they'll want to buy our stuff. And so that was pretty much how it all started. And that's pretty much how it's worked out too. So it's been a good, kind of part of how I market the farm, Goldshaw Farm.
So I guess the ultimate question is, what came first, the YouTube channel or the farm?
The farm first. I mean, because the farm and the approach to the farm and sort of how it was going to all come together was there. But as I was building out the business plan for the farm, the YouTube channel was a part of it for sure. It was the main marketing activity I was going to do in year one.
Well, you came out with a video here a couple days ago that listed a lot of your projects that you're gonna want to get done this year. So it seemed pretty interesting to me. I just want you to see here. I jotted those down. I thought maybe we could discuss a couple of these.
Before you do that, can I get in a few questions here?
Sure.
A Hollabay Homestead's asking, did you catch the barn cat yet?
No, so I haven't. And I actually just put a TikTok up just this evening about sort of the latest of the status. But just for those who don't know the story, we have this barn cat. It's like a feral cat or somebody's stray cat, I guess, that has been living in our barn for the last 2 weeks. And so every night I've been trying to trap this cat. I've tried just like the basic have a heart setup. I've tried hiding the have a heart in boxes and in garbage cans and a whole bunch of different things. And I keep picking him up on the trail camera, so I know he's around, but I have not caught him. He's earned the nickname Hobo Barn Cat, or Victor Barn Cat is kind of his proper name, but yeah, Hobo Cat has become the popular name, and yeah, no luck yet.
So is that an ongoing thing, or you just? Well,
it is an ongoing thing. So I think I've mentioned it in a couple of videos, and I'll probably put out a whole video on it next week. But I've been doing pretty much like every other day videos on TikTok about it, and so people have gotten very hooked into the saga. And for me, it's been kind of fun. It's more motivation to keep going. I think if I hadn't been documenting it, I probably would have gotten frustrated at this point and just given up.
Okay. First thing on your list that you're talking about, although order of importance seems to be out the window on this list, but the first thing you talked about was knocking down this shed that I'm going to call it. It was probably a small utility building of some sort in its day. So the where you're at, are you far enough out? Is there regulations involved in tearing down buildings? And
no, not for doing that. I gotta when I make changes like that, I gotta note it with our town's property tax listers. But in terms of permit approval stuff, no. I mean, if it was deemed like a historically significant building, I think there might be some things I'd have to do. But no, I don't think so.
And then you said you kind of wanted to replace it with a garage, and you put a beautiful drawing in there, but you only said it was going to be about 30 by 40 foot. You really think that's big enough?
Well, it's funny. Allison and I are having that debate as we speak. It might end up being a little bit bigger, and that 30 by 40 number is kind of the main footprint. There would be, we call them kind of like lean-to structures off the sides for a couple of things too. So, that would be part of it as well.
Okay. All right. Are you going to construct the building yourself, or are you going to have it done?
It will probably be a sort of team effort, kind of like the fencing, where what I'm finding is this, the biggest thing that I lack, well, I guess there's two things I lack: skills and time. And so what I've been finding is, if I bring somebody on, I've got a friend who might end up doing it, for him to do sort of help with the construction and me to help out and basically be labor on it when I can, probably will be what ends up happening. Just because, I keep building bigger and bigger and more intricate, chicken coops and brooder structures, but I have just not had much luck in trying to build a structure that big. And so having somebody to work with probably be the case. As far as the demolition goes, that'll probably be a team effort between me and my buddy Alfred. He's got this great excavator. And so between the tractor and the excavator, we'll kind of probably just mash it all up, build one big burn pile, wait till the snow falls, and then
it's always fun to have a campfire like that.
Holly Atkins is asking, how is Bruce the Goose?
Bruce the Goose is doing great, actually. So Bruce the Goose is this buff goose that I introduced to the flock. Gosh, I don't know. Maybe it was October, maybe early November. And at first, when he was introduced to the flock, there was a lot of chaos and a lot of violence. But over the last couple of months, he's definitely settled in. And as mating season with the geese has started up, he's really gotten into the mix, and he's doing really well. So he is he's really joined in with the flock of younger geese that I have, so the yearlings. And he's a part of that mix, and so it's good to have him. So I expect to have some half buff geese this spring.
Do you sell your poultry to restaurants?
So I don't sell to restaurants. So primarily I sell, when I sell meat birds, whether it's ducks or geese, I sell them to people mostly in the area. Sometimes people will come from other parts to pick them up. But yeah, we'll do one harvest a year. And then once we have everybody harvested, we'll kind of put them in the freezer. And then over the next couple of weeks, people come by and pick them up.
Cool.
It was actually really cool this past fall where folks were coming to the farm, and I could kind of give them a quick tour, and they got to meet Toby Dog and Pablo and see everything. And so I'll probably do that again in the fall of 2021.
Good. Gail Watkins is asking, when the snow melts, will it fill up your duck pond?
Yeah. So based on my math, I have more than enough snow right now to fill up the duck pond. So it will be full. It'll be overflowing, actually, by the time we hit like May. What I wonder, though, is will it stay or not? That's going to be the real test. And like, what's it going to look like in August? But right now, it's definitely going to be full this spring. No question about it.
It all depends on how well you got that bentonite mixed in there.
I know, man. We'll see.
And the vineyard chicks, what ducks do you recommend for cold northern farms? Now, they are way up in Michigan.
Sure. So, I have had good luck with Khaki Campbells. I've had good luck with Cayugas. Pekins kind of so-so, particularly in the cold. They definitely seem to struggle more, I think. Not that they can't do it, they just don't seem as hardy. But the Cayugas especially seem like the hardiest of the ducks that I have here. I've become a bigger and bigger fan of Cayugas as I've gotten into ducks, and I'll probably actually get more Cayugas this year. I think that the two breeds of ducks I'm planning on adding to the farm are Cayugas and runner ducks, runners of a couple different varieties.
Morgan, I don't have any idea how the maturity is of your woods there, but do you have some big trees there as well, or is it all just smaller stuff for fence post type trees? Or
yeah, so like most of the state of Vermont, our farm was clear cut, say 100, 120 years ago. And I was actually just walking through the woods yesterday when we were snowshoeing, and you can look and go and see most of the growth is somewhere in the neighborhood of, say, 60 to 100 years old. So not massive, but decent size, some pine, especially some white pine that's like ready to be harvested. And then every so often, though, you'll come across a tree, whether it's like a gigantic cedar or a gigantic maple. Like the biggest cedar tree I've ever seen is actually on our property. And I think it's maybe about 8 feet in diameter. It's crazy. And it's ancient. It has to be 250, 300 years old. And so that's the type of thing that like you see every so often, which was probably a tree that was never cut down. But most of the stuff we have is pretty young and not like high value timber. We have plenty of wood for fence posts, but not like I could raise a whole bunch of money by doing a timber harvest right now.
Big Dreams Homestead is asking, how do Muscovies do in the cold?
Hey, Kira. So I got to admit, I don't have much experience with Muscovies. I've always sort of shied away from them just because of sort of the nature of how easy they are to manage. But I do have friends in the area who have Muscovies, and they seem to do okay. I mean, same climate I'm in. And so I imagine they're good, even though they're technically known as tropical birds. They do have the downy coat. And
City Girl's asking, how's the cat in the barn doing?
The cat in the barn, like I said earlier, yeah, Victor Barncat he's around. Like I saw trail cam footage from 2 days ago that featured him. So he's definitely around, but I haven't had a chance to catch the hobo cat.
You had mentioned something about you want to build a hoop house this year. Is this going to be something that you're going to try to go for the grant that seems to be so popular with so many of the homesteaders, where they get this grant to build a high tunnel? I'm not going to be trying to do the grant. I will be sort of financing it from the farm's finances, but I'm actually sort of working out which way we could go. There's sort of two paths I'm looking at. One is where I get one of those kits and I build it out and build it up. And then the other, though, is actually where, my buddy Alfred, who's like a wizard, is he and I are talking about actually trying to build the greenhouse and all the parts for the greenhouse using like Schedule 40 pipe and a couple of other types of pipe that's actually easily available, and see if we can find a way to do the bending and fitting ourselves and build it out that way, which would be kind of a cool project, I think. And that would be something I definitely document on the YouTube channel. And so
I'm not sure which way we're going to go yet. We're still sort of trying to figure it out. But, I'm not looking at the grants right now. Just one more paperwork headache, honestly, at this point.
Oh, Tori, Mrs. Nick Gardner, what trail cams do you recommend?
To be honest, I have not found ever a great trail camera brand. I have one that's called Stealth Cam. That's actually it's the best camera that I own, even though it's imperfect. There's like another one that I have made by 8Man that's pretty good. Then I have a couple of them that are just total junk. I guess what I find is they're like all the trail cameras that seem to be out there are like these, things manufactured in China that are just really cheap and chintzy, and like the firmware that they have is kind of crappy and clunky. And unless you know how to exactly use it right, you can screw up and not get any footage or not get the right type of footage. So I would not be the one to recommend trail cam brands right now. But if I had to, with like a gun to my head, I'd go Stealth Cam.
Are you going to open up more of your land for any future animals?
Yeah, so the plan is this. So right now I've got that main pasture on the top of the hill there, and that, like about 30 acres, I'm going to be fencing in this summer. While we're doing that project, I'm also going to be going through with the tractor and chainsaws, basically, and clearing out some of the secondary pasture that's starting to get overgrown. And that would be the next place that I'd expand to as I start to try to add more cattle. Then kind of as time goes on, I'd probably keep converting more and more of that forest into silvopasture, meaning I'm not going to clear cut it, but what I do is selectively harvest trees to open it up to create grassland, but have a higher concentration of trees than, say, like the main pasture that I have that's, been clear cut for years.
Mallory is asking, have you tried SkyPoint trail cams?
SkyPoint, no, but I'm actually going to write that one down. I guess, Mallory, let me ask you, are you recommending it? Because if you are, I'm like totally in the market for good trail cameras.
And according to Big Bear, there are no good trail cameras.
Okay, see, and I trust Jason on that one, and that's been kind of my instinct, which is why I haven't been actively trying to find good ones. Like, they just all seem like junk, and you just kind of find the least junky.
Your turn. That's all. That's all the questions. That's all the questions so far. Back to you.
Okay. Well, I know that you did get a grant last year for your barn, for the roof, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. But obviously with situations that happened, did that just get put on hold? Or do you know yet?
Yeah, I'm working on trying to get a continuance on it to carry it over to this year. So the labor that I had lined up to help me get it done, because again, this is a 120 by 80 foot barn that's 3 stories high, and so it's replacing the roof of that. So that's like a pretty good sized project, and we need to get like a cherry picker out there. We need like a whole like crane. Like it's like a lot of stuff, and so I wasn't able to line up the labor. Like they were there, but then they canceled, and it's just turned into a whole mess this past summer. And so I'm trying again this year. I've got another crew lined up, and so knock on wood, that will get done this year.
Hidden Springs Farm, what's so beneficial to do a silvopasture?
Sure. So when it comes down to it, silvopastures have a couple of different values. If you're using tree crops, which is part of what I'm actually building within our orchard, is basically a form of silvopasture that uses tree crops, so like chestnuts or mulberry or apple. You're able to kind of produce food for yourself, food for animals, but then also create shade and have grazing land for ruminants like cows or geese. When it comes to the type of silvopasture that I'll end up putting out sort of further out there, where I just have things like pines and oaks occasionally, it's going to be much more about shade and just creating a more diverse landscape, windbreaks. But really what it comes down to is this: when you think about nature and you look around like natural habitats where you find the areas that are the most productive are usually on that edge between a pasture and the forest. And by creating a silvopasture, what you're doing is creating that edge type environment much more frequently, much more abundantly. And so what you find is that your area becomes more drought tolerant. You find you're creating better opportunities for a variety of wildlife, opportunities for better soil health and soil diversity. And so kind of having a mix of trees in there has that benefit as well. So it's, food, shade, and improved environment.
There was a question. Have you decided on what breed of cattle you are getting?
So I would say I'm about 95% sure we're going to be getting Dexter cattle. So Dexters are kind of a smaller breed of cow. The reason I'm going for a smaller breed of cow is because given our environment here, we're spending about 6 months a year feeding hay. And so those bigger cows require a lot more hay. The smaller cows are kind of per cow going to give you a higher yield on a dollar basis. And so really, it's a more efficient way to raise cattle around here. And so that's why I'm looking at like a smaller breed like the Dexter. I also like the Dexter just because, personality-wise, they're pretty friendly and docile. They're also technically dual purpose, so if I wanted to experiment with milking, I could. And so that's why Dexter's the focus.
Big Bear Homestead, Morgan, this is in all caps. Morgan, I feel like you owe me, since Robin now wants all things feathered, mostly your fault. You need to tell her we need Highland cows.
See, all right, number one, I don't think Highland cows would be great for Georgia. Just one guy's opinion. And number two, all right, I see you're trying to angle your way into Taco Saturday nights, and we'll see what happens.
Hidden Spring Farm, is the pilgrim geese the ones that are quiet?
Pilgrims are, I would not say that they are quiet. I mean, they're maybe quieter. Like they're, I would say that when it comes to the geese varieties I've selected, I've got kind of the more chill wing of the goose family. Like if I think of like Chinese or African geese, they are typically louder. They are sometimes even more aggressive. And so that's why I actually have some of the breeds that I have. But pilgrims are, I would actually say, the calmest of all the geese that I have, for sure. Really only the ganders get snippy when it's breeding season. But even when it's not breeding season, they're actually pretty relaxed and laid back. But I wouldn't portray them as quiet. I mean, if you're going to have geese, the one drawback is you're going to have a little bit of goose noise.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just watching the mods handle stuff here.
Well, your list is quite aggressive, in my opinion, if you're planning on getting even a third of this done this year. But you said a term that I was not familiar with, and I've been around barns for many years. What you call the high drive in your barn.
Yep.
I'd never heard that before. And
so yeah, like a high drive, and I'm not sure if it's like a barn thing everywhere, but it's definitely very common here in Vermont. And you actually can see it in the picture, I guess over my shoulder this way. See like that big opening, that door? That's actually a ramp up to the third floor of our barn. So the way the barn's built, it's actually partially built into the side of the hill.
Right.
And so the reason that they had that was back in the day, they could load up the hay cart, drive it up the high drive ramp into the top of the barn, and put all the hay up on the third floor. They'd keep the cattle on the second floor. And so in the wintertime, they would just basically take the hay, drop it down to the second floor, shuffle it over, and feed the cows. And then the cows would actually poop, and they had these little trap doors that would open up and drop all the poop down to the first floor, and they'd collect all the manure down on the bottom. And so it was super efficient for a way to keep cattle in freezing cold Vermont temps in say 1900, and you didn't have electricity, and you didn't have kind of the modern conveniences, and so that's where the high drive comes from.
But I know that in that video you had showed that area. Here, I mean, for the most part, it's just called a bank barn. and they don't have the ramp like that. They have it was built up with dirt on the outside to that level. But nevertheless, I saw how bad the beams were in there. Do you feel that you have the wood on your property, or are you gonna manufacture or utilize I-beams or steel, I should say, in that barn? Or
Yeah, no, we'll be cutting trees. I actually marked 2 of them yesterday while we were out doing our little Valentine's Day walk. So we have, I'm actually looking at some tamarack and some hemlock that, just kind of chop them down, probably try to collect 5 or 6 of them, and pretty much put them in a similar configuration to the way they are right now, where, basically the boards, and I'll probably end up using the same boards because the boards are in pretty good shape. Just put boards across these, trees, basically, and it should work pretty good.
Nick Gardner's asking, are you growing wheat or hay?
I'm not really growing either right now. So before we bought our farm, our pastures were being used as hay fields. But since we took the farm over, I actually stopped doing that. And what we've been doing has been just brush hogging on the regular basis. The reason for that is, when you're haying your fields, you're taking nutrition and kind of taking bulk organic matter off of your soil. And because I knew I ultimately wanted to have cattle, I wanted to keep actually building the pasture up more and more. And so it's been a couple of years of constantly cutting and letting that cut rot and compost, and then growing more and cutting more. And so it's intended to make the soil better. And so right now we're not doing hay. We could if we want to. I don't have any plans to do hay. The reason for that is there's a whole host of equipment I'd have to buy if I wanted to do my own haying that just is kind of more expensive than I'd want to get into. And at the same time, I have several neighbors around here who have full haying setups. And so I can actually just either buy the hay from them, or what I might end up doing in the future is having them hay my field and do the labor for me. And then I can just set it aside for the cattle.
Cool. Hope Wilson is asking, what happened to your Toby picture? Did you find a new location?
Actually, hold on.
I guess he has it, Hope.
All right, here. I'll show this to you guys. So I actually took it down yesterday because I'm taking a picture of it because I'm going to turn it into a T-shirt. But here we go. I don't know if I'm going to get back a little bit.
That's
so
pretty
it's a
good.
painting of Toby Dog as like a general. It's pretty great. And so my plan is I'm going to actually make this into a T-shirt design. I'm working on a whole bunch of new T-shirt designs right now, and that'll be one of them.
And Robin is asking, how long is your growing season, and what is your main focus for the garden?
Sure. So our growing season, really, you do not want to put anything into the ground until at least Memorial Day, if not later. And then if you have stuff in the ground that you can't protect after Labor Day, you're at risk. And even before that, you can get like an early or a late August frost. And so it's short, it's hard. Our focus on the garden this year, we're actually doubling the size. We're putting in raised beds. The main things I'm going to be looking to grow, and Allison does most of the growing. It's, kind of the usual, just kitchen variety vegetables for us to eat. There is an area just past where the garden is that we're going to be focusing on putting in a pumpkin patch and potatoes. And the pumpkins are basically for the birds because they store really well and the birds like to eat them. And I like to give the birds some sort of fresh, organic vegetable matter on top of their regular feed in the winter. And then the potatoes are just for us for eating because they store well too.
Tammy Gillette is saying Toby is such a great guardian dog. Do you think Toby deters air predators like hawks?
I think he does to a certain extent. I think the funny thing that I always see happen is when I try to fly my drone and just get footage for a video with the drone that I have, everybody goes into like alert mode. There's a reason you don't see a lot of drone shots with ducks and geese hanging out everywhere, and that's because they all like hide and take cover because they see it as an aerial predator. And Toby goes into like full on like high alert mode, like he's looking for some sort of trouble. He's watching the drone, he's watching his birds. And so I think there is a certain measure of protecting the birds that he does with aerial predators. That said, I have lost one chicken, Margie the murder chicken, due to either a hawk or an owl. I'm not sure which, but it was probably one of those two.
And when are you getting your next pup?
So, and actually I was just texting with the breeder the other day. She's just about to go into heat, the mom, and so they'll probably conceive soon, and hopefully by probably like June, July, we'll be picking up a puppy and bringing her here to the farm.
Cool. Yeah, Robin says Gizmo sounds off when he sees them. Yep.
Yeah, no, definitely the dogs don't like stuff flying too long in the sky. Like, I mean, if it's like a pigeon or like a crow passing overhead, they don't pay much mind. But if it's a bird, even if it's like a turkey vulture that's sort of going a couple laps around, they don't like it at all.
Okay, and I just want to let everybody know we do have the phone lines open if you'd like to call in and ask any questions directly. Just say hi. Just wish
by the way,
well.
this is maybe the time to bring on the special guest while we wait for phone calls. Come here.
Yeah, you can hear it.
Yep, so little barn cat's hanging out with me tonight. Pretty much like she does all nights at this point. It's become like every night, I'm usually sitting right in this spot editing my videos. And she likes to sit in that chair right back there. And yeah, it's pretty good. She's become a very good office mate.
Barn cat.
Yep.
In the office, barn cat. I don't.
Well, this is the one that
she was a barn cat.
I know.
Now it's a house cat.
Yeah,
but it's not like I can just change her name, She was always Little Barn Cat, so She remains Little Barn Cat.
Oh, is it next weekend? Jason gets his puppy next weekend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, everyone send Jason tutus and little bows. Right, Robin?
So, one of the other things that you had listed here, Morgan, is bees. Have you ever done any beekeeping?
This will be a first. I'm actually just finished reading a book on beekeeping. I'm learning. I'm going to struggle with this one, but it's something I've wanted to do for a very long time, and I basically saw a good deal on a couple of nukes and put down my deposit, and I'm ready to go.
Well, I'm a little curious because there seems to be two different camps on this, two different hive types, and I just wonder which one you're leaning toward.
It's the Langstroth. The stacky one.
Yeah. The typical box that everybody sees. Because I know that there's another friend of ours that promotes the
top bar.
Yeah, it's a top bar. It's it's a narrower box. It's longer and.
Yeah, the reason I'm going for it, and actually I sought good counsel from my friend Kaylee over at the Honeystead. Just it's simpler. There's more parts and resources available, and so that's kind of what defaulted me into the situation, at least for this kind of year one of beekeeping.
Big Bear's asking, is Morgan a vet? I can't remember.
I am neither a doctor to animals nor a former armed service member, so no.
Would you share with folks what your profession is?
Oh yeah, sure. So I work at an insurance company. I do marketing there. It's a good little company here in Vermont, and that's my day job. And I got to say, I'm very, very lucky because, like, in the last year, I've been also able to work right from this room. And, being able to work from the farm makes my life so much simpler and so much more straightforward versus having a commute, having to not be here on the farm. Like, like at lunch today, I could just run out and check on the animals and come back in. And so it makes life so much easier. And I know that a lot of people have struggled in this past year because of all the challenges. I've actually found it's made my life easier in a bizarre way.
Are you going to make it to any of the meetups this year, or the?
I should. Let's see what the world looks like before I completely say yes. I am going to be a speaker actually at Homesteaders of America this year. So just kind of worked that out with Amy and team. And so I will be at Homesteaders of America, and I will be giving a talk on raising geese and why every goose should have, or every homestead should have a goose. And so I'm looking forward to being there. I'm not sure about sort of things beyond that. Again, it's going to sort of depend on what the whole kind of world situation looks like in my eyes. But I am planning on being at Homesteaders of America.
Holly Atkins asking, will you sell your honey?
I don't think I will sell my honey because a couple of reasons. Number one,
I'm not sure I understand.
Watch this. It doesn't understand. So the reason I probably won't sell my honey, number one, I won't be doing it at really a big scale. It's only 2 hives. And then number two, sort of the logistics of trying to sell it, we're going to be more complicated. So I think we will just be using the honey for us here at the farm, and then maybe give some out to friends and family.
Breakaway Homesteader is asking, what is your dream job?
My dream job is really this. Like, if I were to win the lottery tomorrow, very little in my life would change. I mean, I would still be doing the farm. I'd still probably be doing the YouTube channel. I might have more interesting equipment and have more building projects going on. I'm not sure if I'd still do my J job if I won the lottery or not, but, basically, this is my dream job. I feel very, very lucky because if I look back on my life, even if I look back, say like 5-6 years ago, I was so far from feeling like I was in my dream job. And I was really, really unhappy with what I was doing kind of from a work life perspective and personal life perspective. Just everything about it was just, I was really unhappy. And so kind of looking at where I am now, it's incredible. And I feel really, really lucky to have it kind of worked out the way it did. But this right here, talking to you guys, hanging out, editing videos, shooting videos, working on the farm, taking care of the animals, kind of all of that comprises my dream job.
Adrian Farmstead Smith is asking, would you still live where you live if you won the lottery?
110%. It would, like, not even a second thought. This is like, I really love it here. I love this farm. I love the land. I love my neighbors, the community I'm in, everything about it. I would not change one bit if I won the lottery.
Okay, Morgan, we got a phone call here, so let me let him in the room.
All right.
This is Daryl. Who's calling, please?
Hi, my name's Casey, calling from Seattle.
Hi, Casey. How are you?
Hey, Casey.
I'm great. How are you guys? Hi there. I've been loving your content for months now.
Awesome.
I am a city girl, but I do think about moving out to, Vermont or Maine. And one of the things that I worry about is water supply. And I know you have a well, and I take from things you said, I imagine most people out there get their water from wells. And I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about how deep you have to dig, what the water supply is like, how much of an infrastructure you need, that sort of thing.
Sure. So, I think our well is about 40 feet deep. The climate here, and I don't want to speak to Maine because I just know, my climate, right? The climate here it's relatively more damp climate. Like, we get pretty regular rain. It's pretty consistent. We had a drought this past summer into the early fall, but even that sort of has corrected itself at this point. And so kind of as a sort of water abundance situation, there's a lot of it here. On our property, we have like 3 different springs. One of them's developed, 2 of them are undeveloped. And then we have the well to the house. You will find, if you're looking at property around here, if it's, already developed, there's probably already a well there. I mean, the odds are very, very high. If it's undeveloped, you're going to want to set aside some money to build the well. It's not that bad, though. I mean, the biggest challenge that we have isn't so much that you have to dig really deep. It's that you're going to run into issues with hitting rock and having sort of tough digging surfaces. But so depending on like your actual geological situation at that piece of property, it's pretty straightforward. You're also going to find a lot of properties that have springs, which I would say actually putting a spring box in is even better than having a well. The water, I think, always tastes a little bit better. And so it's not too hard to do. I would just say don't be intimidated by it. Out west, I know there's a lot of issues with drought. There's a lot of issues with water supply, getting access to those types of things. And here in the Northeast, it's not that situation. And so I think we're very lucky in that context. And so I wouldn't be intimidated by it. And, look, you're probably going to spend somewhere between $10,000 and $40,000. And I give you a very wide estimate because it really depends on a host of variables. But, it's definitely something that you could do if you bought like some raw land and you wanted to develop it for a homestead or a farm.
That's wonderful to know. I really appreciate it. It's very reassuring. Thank you.
Absolutely. Any other questions?
Well, I suppose I've seen Pablo Barncat looking wistfully through the window.
In your own property, right?
What was that?
I said, I'm sure you got $1 million if you've been thinking about getting your own property.
Oh, yes. And I'm an older person, and I'm a city girl, and I don't think I would get a full-fledged farm because I don't think I could take care of it all on my own for very long. But I love the idea of just having a little bit of property, get away from the light pollution. I love looking up at the night sky.
Yeah, you'll definitely find that up here. I mean, it's pretty incredible. Like, you get a good cloudless night and you can just go out there and look, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm looking at coming out to the Northeast toward next autumn, and I saw in Maine anyway, they have some kind of night sky organization that's having a conference. Everybody come out and stare at the night sky through telescopes, and that sounds pretty exciting.
Yep. No, definitely. Actually, here in Peacham, Vermont, they have we've got like an observatory. And so right in the center of town, there's like this little observatory tower where you can go up, and they got like all these cool telescopes, and you catch it on a good night. It's pretty amazing to look out there.
I bet it does.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. Yes. Just walk right in and see where you're pointing at. I saw we had some kind of thing in Seattle a few years back. Everybody went out to the parks, and a lot of the local astronomy societies had their telescopes set out. And I looked through one, and there was Saturn. And it was the first time I'd seen Saturn, like, in person, so to speak. I'd only ever seen, like, pictures of it or images on TV. And it was just such an overwhelming experience to see it kind of live.
Wow. That's actually very incredible. Like, yeah, I'm trying to think if I've ever seen Saturn. I don't think I've ever seen Saturn naked eye. So that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Oh no, this wasn't naked eye. This was through a telescope.
Oh, gotcha.
But it was like, yeah, but it was immediate. It wasn't like I said, not a picture on screen or a recorded image on TV.
That's very cool.
Yeah, just felt different. Do you have other people waiting to ask questions, or can I keep wandering on?
We did have another caller, but they've dropped off. So
I'm sorry.
Well, no, you're fine. You're fine. So you go right ahead. If you have more questions or anything, you go right ahead.
Okay.
And what I can do is we can have more than one person at a time. But that. We just have to be courteous of everybody, because otherwise it turns into a big mess. But yeah, you go right ahead.
I don't want to monopolize Morgan.
All right, hold on. We do have another caller right now, so let me let them in too, and perhaps everybody can join. So, all right.
Okay.
This is Daryl. Who's calling, please?
Hey, this is Don from Little Mountain Life.
Hey, Don. How's it going, man?
Good, Morgan. How you doing, man?
I'm good.
Cool. Hey, there's a discussion Macon and small YouTube homesteaders was talking about affiliate marketing. And I was curious, obviously you don't need to go into specifics, but I was curious if you put like a percentage to it, comparing your AdSense versus other affiliate / sponsorship deals, like how you weigh out your income.
Sure. Yeah. So, affiliate marketing isn't really a big thing for me. Like I really only started doing it recently for certain things. And it's really only like something that I like really care about. Like, actually one of them that I'm gearing up to do is something with Justin Rhodes in a couple weeks. And, that's just, he's a guy who I just love his content. He's got such great resources with his website, so like that's one example that I do. But for me as an overall percentage, it's probably less than 5% of like kind of what I'll call the content revenue that we have for the farm, where a big chunk of that's still AdSense revenue, and then sort of a growing chunk of it is actually sponsorships, so deals that I'm making directly with like a brand. So, for example, I just did one with Skillshare, and I'm doing another one, a couple of them in the next few weeks too, with a few other brands. And so that's becoming a bigger percentage, but still mostly it's AdSense revenue.
Gotcha. Cool. I was just curious. Very interesting. Thanks.
Yep. Good talking to you, man.
Yeah, you too. Hopefully see you in October.
Yeah, definitely. I know. Yeah. So Don, I don't know if you guys know, like he's right down in Virginia, right outside of where Homesteaders of America is. And I'm really curious, Don, if I'm down there, I might want to check out your place because I'm really curious about the pole barn house. I think it looks so cool.
Yeah, man. You are welcome to come over when you come on down for sure.
All right. We'll try to work something out.
Absolutely. All right, man. You take care.
Thanks for calling, Don.
Okay, and let me just share that we do have our friend from Australia on the line here as well. So,
hey, Darren,
you make that sound like a warning.
At times it could be. Like,
wait, Darren, what is it? Is it
like next month?
What, 10 a.m. there, or is it like something crazy?
2 p.m. on Tuesday.
Okay, well there you go. Calling from the future.
I'm calling from the future.
Yeah, can you tell us what today's lottery numbers are?
No, because we have different lottery draws than you.
Go ahead, Darren.
All right. I mean, I'm never going to miss an opportunity to call up when he's on. Fantastic person, and has really locked down what we're all trying to do. You have absolutely nailed this YouTube thing and done it well.
Thanks, man. So
something for me that, you would have gone through the same phase that we're always going through, and you're new and you're starting and you're slowly building up and that sort of thing. How did you get through those rough times?
Yeah, look, number one, it's totally real, and you're 100% right that it's rough. Like, I remember the summer I first moved up here and started farming and started doing the YouTube channel. It was tough. It was tough on a couple of fronts. It was like getting used to going from the city life to the country life, getting used to like having the responsibility of animals, and then just getting used to the grind of YouTube. Because if I look at it right now, the amount of work it takes to do our YouTube channel and like edit the videos and produce everything, it's pretty much the same amount of work it was back then. I mean, I'm still doing roughly two videos a week. Even then I was doing 2 videos a week. And so it's just harder because you're not getting the feedback. You're not feeling like you're finding your audience and you're struggling. And so that to me was really hard. I think the thing that helped me get through it was there was a certain point over the summer of 2018 where I stopped trying to make videos that I thought people might want to see. And I thought that people might make go viral or do something like that, and just focused on being me and telling stories and maybe being a little weird and a little different from your average homesteading channel. But it was like I found this point, and I actually remember, if you go back in my videos, you can find it. It's a video where I talk about like my morning routine and what I see when I'm doing my morning routine. Like, it was like the first video that I like really like felt like, wow, that's what I want to do, like those types of videos. And once I started to do that, I got into a rhythm of making more and more of those videos. And from there, it was the passion of enjoying making the video that kept me going through the grind. And as I kept doing that and as things kept going on, that's when the channel started to grow too. And so I think they are interrelated. And I think the more you can find just pure joy in the creation of the videos and the act of creating that content, the more people are going to see it and the more they're going to want to see it, and like more they're going to want to participate in your channel. And so, really, I would say focus in on that part, and you'll start to find the other stuff comes with it over time. And as you find your voice and as you improve your skills, all of those things start to ratchet up too. Because remember, you don't start day one being able to do amazing stuff necessarily. Usually it takes building up and fine tuning your skills as well as finding your audience.
And your editing skills are just top notch. I mean, you spend hours in the editing, whereas I spend like 5 minutes editing.
Yeah, but honestly, that's okay, man. See, here's the thing. I think the more important thing is identify your voice. Like, for me, it's so much about telling a story and doing it with a little flash and making it feel like it's really cut well and like it all kind of comes together. That's my style. If I look at, like, say, my friend Jess over at Roots and Refuge, right? Hers is like you're hanging out in the backyard with your best friend. And it's just like, there's very little edits. It's very simple music. It's not a lot going on to it. It's just hanging out with Jess, which is, a great thing to do. And that's why so many people like to do it. And then she's got all this wisdom and knowledge that she's dropping as she goes along. Those are two very different styles. Either one works. And so part of what you want to do is really find what your voice is, what works for Darren, like kind of how that comes together. Because as you do that, that's what's going to connect with people. The more you can be you.
Okay, and we have another caller.
Good talking with you, Darren.
So let me let them into the room here as well. And I have another quick question that you can maybe answer while I'm getting them in the room here, Morgan. And that is, what's your current status on podcasts, and what is your future deal? Are you going to be doing those more often, or?
I need to be doing it. So, as I said earlier, my biggest commodity in my life right now is time, and just having the time between balancing kind of all the things to do all the things I want to do. The one that's always sort of sacrificed, and I feel like the last time I was talking to you guys, I kind of had this guilty admission as well, it's the podcast. And so I actually have a couple of interviews. I have one with my friend Ben from the Urban Rescue Ranch. I have one with Dan from the Grass-Fed Homestead that are like ready to go. I just need to record intros and I need to edit them, and then I can put them out. And so I want to try to find a slow period. And I thought February was going to be that, to start putting out more podcasts, but it's not dead. I swear it's not dead. I get emails from people on the regular that it's like, is it ever coming back? And yes, the Goldshaw Farm podcast will be coming back.
Okay, and we have another caller here. This is Daryl. Who's calling, please?
Terry from City Girl Country Heart.
Hi, Terry. How you doing?
Hey, Terry.
I'm doing good. Now, a little while back, Morgan was on a friend's show on YouTube. It's him and a few of his other friends from were in the city. And if I'm right, on that show, you said you had 150 acres, right?
Yeah, well, it's like 160, but yeah, like ish, rough, give or take, depending on counting a couple things.
With all that land, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Hopefully having more cows. So this is where the cattle really becomes a big part of the future of the farm. In that, right now, if you look at our farming activities, we're really only using about, I'd say, like 12 acres of that land in like a real capacity. The remainder of the, 140 and change. I don't do math in public. Like the remainder of that land is out there, and so I'm starting with a handful of cows this year. do rotational grazing and start to kind of get that going. I also have some business plans that I'm building out in terms of what I'll do with those cattle, and so that I can make it financially sustainable. My hope is that over the next 5 years, I'm growing that and scaling that up and making it bigger and bigger. And so it would be using pretty much all the current pasture that we have today, and then potentially reclaiming some woods that was pasture, say 100 years ago, and turning it back into pasture would be the longer term plan, like I was talking about earlier.
Okay, let me jump in here a second. Terry, we're getting some television noise or something behind you there.
Hold on. And Tanya, can you mute that for a second, please? My son's playing on his Xbox with a friend of his. He's playing a shooting game.
Okay.
Morgan, Tori from Naked Gardener, we feel 2 videos a week has been manageable for life balance. Do you ever see yourself doing more than 2 a week?
If I ever leave my day job, which I don't have any plans to do right now because I actually really like doing that as well. If I had that time, I probably would move up to 3 videos a week, but I'm not sure I'd do more than that, because I think part of what works with my videos is that I'm really trying to, pull together and tell a good story. And I think if I had to produce too many videos, I'd burn myself out pretty quickly. So I could see someday going up to 3 videos. I don't see myself ever being like a daily vlogger or doing, 6 videos a week or even 5 videos a week. But I could see someday doing maybe 3.
And Moon Farm is asking, are you writing a book?
I am. I'm actually writing a couple of books right now. So one book that I've talked a lot about this is a Toby Dog book. So it's a book about Toby coming to our farm. It's written for kids, say ages 10, 11-ish, that type of age. Kind of all about life here on the farm and what that's like, especially as a newcomer. And I've actually just finished the second draft of it. I sit right back there at that desk a lot of mornings working on it. And so it's coming together. I'm actually also working to nail down an editor and illustrator. And I'm hoping, and I'm not sure it's going to actually happen, but by the end of the year, I'll have that book out. Then I also have 2 other books actually that are kind of in earlier stages that are probably just too soon to talk about, but I am working on a couple other things. Because I really like writing. I'm just not very good at it, I don't think. I don't know. I sort of struggle. Whereas the videos are just really easy for me to kind of whip out and produce. I think I'm just overly focused on doing a good job with writing, and so it makes me go slower than I would with, say, a video.
But see, that plays to your characterization that you do with the animals. And the writing part sort of goes arm in arm with the way you characterize all the animals.
Well, and that's actually, Darren, what the book is. It's basically, Toby's a character, Pablo's a character, Lil's a character, several of the ducks are characters, the coyotes are characters, there's a skunk who's a character, and so it's each of these characters are interacting, and I'm in the book, but I'm not really in the book. I'm just a background character of anything. It's so much more about the animals and how they interact.
That sounds like a book my youngest grandson would love.
Well, that's the market, honestly. That's who, if I'm thinking about who am I making this book for? It is for a kid who is, say 10, 11 years old, somebody who maybe likes animals, who might like farming, might not even have a farm, might not have ever been to a farm, but really is interested in animals and stories about animals, because that's what I think. I don't know, when I was a kid, I was really into that sort of thing. Some of my favorite books as a kid, right, were Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim and Charlotte's Web and Redwall and those types of things. And so I'm trying to kind of bring sort of that vibe to a book about our farm.
And Don said you can record the audiobook version of it in his home studio.
Yeah, so here's the thing. If I ever were to record the audio version, I think probably people would want that, but I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a terrible reader. So I'm actually dyslexic. And so ever since I was a kid, I can read really well if it's in my head. And like, I'm actually a very fast reader when it comes to that. But if I have to read out loud, it's kind of embarrassing. So I don't know if I'm going to actually read my own book. I might have to hire Natalie to read it down. Like, that might be the way I need to go.
Have Allison do it.
Yeah, I'm not sure she'll be up for that one.
I have a question about...
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I have a question about things like contractors. This is Casey from Seattle again. I was wondering, you've mentioned in some of your videos that it's not a problem living out in the rural areas because everybody helps everybody else. I'm wondering if a newcomer comes out there and buys, say, a fixer-upper and needs all kinds of work done on it, how would that person go about getting help? It's like, hi, I need new wiring, I need new drywall, I need a lot of stuff, and I don't know whether I should hire a contractor or if there's some sort of community schooling of talents, of skills.
Yeah, so let me tell you a story, Casey, about the time that I got schnooked. Because,
oh dear.
You know what? Like, it's actually one of the hardest things that you're going to have to do if you're thinking about buying a property and moving across the country and, kind of trying to set up a new home. When we bought our farm in 2016, we were like in a rush to do the home renovations. Like the house needed a lot of work. We bought it knowing it needed a lot of work, but we were ready to do that. And so while we were living in Washington, D.C., we actually started the process of finding a contractor, starting the work. Because I didn't want to move furniture up here and actually get all settled in the house. Like I was in a rush to get it all done and just have it done and be ready to move in and get it all set sooner rather than later. And that was the biggest mistake we could possibly make. Because what we did was we found a contractor. It's not like I knew him or knew people who knew him and had relationships or anything. And it was one of those situations where it was unreliable. The timing dragged on. A project that was supposed to take 4 months ended up taking a year and 3 months. And it cost way more than it should have. And, we weren't able to be there day in and day out because we were living in DC. And so we couldn't supervise the project the way we probably needed to. And it was just a complete disaster. It went way longer than it should have and wasted a lot of money. And I completely regret it. And I actually probably should make a video about this because I think other people in your situation are kind of thinking about the same thing and could run into the same problem.
Be a good video.
Yeah. And so what it comes down to, though, is this. When we moved up here and when we got to know people and we built relationships in the community and got to know people and had people who were friends who did certain types of work or people who had friends who did that or kind of friend of a friend who did that sort of thing, that's when we found good, reliable people. That's when we found the good electrician who I'm going to add more wiring to my barn, or my buddy Alfred who's got an excavator who I can hire for an afternoon to come down and grade something out for me. No problem. That's where that came from. It's by having those relationships. And so if I were to do it all over again, I wouldn't have touched the house in the first year or two. I would have just let us live with it, not be in a rush, and have it be imperfect, have it have problems, live with those imperfections, just sort of suck it up and go with it. But meanwhile, and establish myself in the community, get to know folks. And then when it comes time and when I can't bear living in this house anymore because these 18 things need to get fixed, then you start to hire somebody to do those things and actually do it. Don't be in a rush to get it all done. Don't try to do it afar. I think that was one of the biggest mistakes we made here on our farm.
Morgan, let me just interject here too. That's in my opinion anyway. That's especially an important thing as far as the land is concerned, that you actually see what you have. Let it go through a set of seasons. We have another caller here, so we're gonna let them in here as well. This is Daryl. Who's calling, please?
Hi there, it's Bettina calling.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. I just thought I'd say hi.
Well, thank you for calling. Morgan can hear you just fine. You go right ahead.
So how are you holding
great.
up there
Hey,
in
Morgan.
Canada?
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing good. It's I'm looking out the window. It's just starting to snow, I think. But things
Is
are good
it?
here.
I don't know if we're getting it yet. Shoot. Yeah, we are. I just looked out the window. Finally getting some snow. So it'll be nice. We haven't had any. I know everybody else is complaining, but I've been waiting for snow here. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think for us, I would say this has been sort of like a medium winter. Up until the beginning of February, I would have said it was a mild winter. At this point, this has been a decent February, so I was like medium level winter, but it's not intense like other parts of the country have had it like be intense at this point. But yeah.
No, I agree. I mean, I'm in Ontario, and I mean, we normally get, minus 15, minus 20. We get snow, and we've had hardly any snow this year. It's been terrible, actually. I mean, I want snow. We need the snow, right? You need it to cover the ground and for groundwater and all of those nice things. So
wait, Bettina, are you out like in the prairie area?
I am just east of Toronto by about an hour. I'm in the Durham region.
Okay.
So
yeah,
I'm about.
I will admit, I've become like a serious Letterkenny fan, and now I just hear Ontario, and I just like sort of have this mental image, which I know is totally unfair, but I love that show.
I have not watched it.
You gotta see Letterkenny. It's amazing. It's so good. I think it's on Hulu or Crave. If you're in Canada, I think Crave is the one that they have there. But yeah, it's incredible. It's all about like a little small town in Ontario.
And is it filmed in Barrie, or is that where it's supposed to be?
I don't know where it's filmed. I mean, it's definitely kind of out in the prairie somewhere. I don't know exactly the town, but it's
prairies. Oh, okay.
Prairie, not Barrie. Sorry.
I thought you said Barrie. Barrie, in Barrie, Ontario. So the prairies are way far away from here, anyway. I'm near Toronto, so I'm not that far from you, actually.
Yeah, that's actually much closer. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm actually only about 3 hours from Jason at Start From Seed.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 3.5. Yeah.
It's funny. I was planning on doing a Canadian road trip this past spring, but before like all the COVID stuff hit, where I was going to go to hit this orchard out in Montreal. This guy Stefan Sokoviak has. I was going to then go to actually visit Jason, and then I was going to go hit. There's this amazing goose and duck breeder, and I was going to try to like check out their place, but all those plans got the kibosh. So hopefully some other time once like the border opens up again.
The goose and duck breeder is that place in Ottawa, near Ottawa?
I don't remember. I don't think it was Ottawa. I don't. Hold on, I can tell you. I don't know. It doesn't say on their bio real quick. It was somewhere. It wasn't too far from Jason. Is what it was. So that's how I was going to stop at his place there.
Oh, I wonder if it's the guy. There's a place that I think the guy has a YouTube channel and has some.
No, it's not. They've got a big Instagram following, but they don't have a YouTube channel.
Oh, okay. And actually, I knew you were going to come up. Actually, except COVID hit. Did you were going to visit Jody at Jody Farm?
Yeah, it was on the potential list there. Seeing Jody, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's funny, there's like a whole cool Canadian crew of YouTubers that I don't think, and if folks are watching this, they should check them out. Like,
Mallory,
you should check these guys out because they do great stuff. Like, so like Dave and Amanda at the Wilderstead, Jody over Jody Farms, Jason at Start From Seed. Just like a cool Canadian crew that, I feel like, especially being northern United States, I have a lot of kinship with.
Exactly, and there's Mallory. She's about 9 hours.
Oh yeah, Mallory from Quebec Homestead who's here tonight. Another great one.
And she's brilliant. What she deals with out there, weather-wise.
Oh yeah,
everything. So yeah, we have a lot of great YouTubers and homesteaders up here, but it's just a little quieter, I guess.
Yeah,
More
exactly.
polite,
Maybe that's not a bad
prefer.
thing.
Anyway, but I just thought I'd say hi, and I wondered, I was going to ask you about the children's book, but I did hear somebody else had asked you about that. So
Yep, it's
I was
in the
curious
works.
if you were
We'll
going to
see.
do a series. Yeah. Awesome. That's so
Well,
cool.
good talking to you,
I
Bettina.
can't wait. Yeah, it's nice talking to you.
All right.
Thanks for all the entertainment for all this time. I've been watching from the start, I guess, or almost.
Oh yeah, you've been a longtime viewer, longtime commenter for sure. Like you go way back. You definitely have Old Soft Farm old school cred. No doubt about it.
Yeah, that's me. Anyway, well, I'll let everybody else talk too. I don't know if I'm supposed to hang up or just sit tight or what. It took me forever even to make the call happen. I'm so technically advanced. I kept pressing all the wrong buttons.
Well, I'm glad you made it. Glad you made it.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Okay, just so everybody know, we're going to kind of start to wind it down here. We've taken up,
an hour and a half
of Morgan's time here this evening.
This is fun hanging out. I mean, look, you guys are old school, OG Old Soft Farm viewers too. I mean, like I remember the first time I ever came on Monday Night Live. What was it? Probably the fall of 2018, right?
Thereabouts.
Something like that. Like,
Yep.
and yeah, that was like baby channel. Like, and then so yeah, I always appreciate the support you guys show. So thank you.
Oh, appreciate it.
Yeah, you are certainly welcome.
I have a question for Morgan.
Go ahead, Terry.
Morgan, you said you're speaking at Homesteads of America conference. Are you going to be doing the class up there?
Yeah, so yes, I will be doing like a class lecture. You know how they, if you've ever been at HOA, they have like all these like little classes and sessions that happen over the course of the couple days, and I will be doing one mostly on geese. I'll also touch on ducks a little bit, but mostly focused on geese because there's just so many people who are interested these days in getting into geese, and so I'll be talking about it there.
I'm hoping to make it up there this year. Next month I go for my driver's permit, and hopefully by September I'll have my license. And then if I can get up there, I want to go to your class. But I'm going to be able to see my brother when I go up there too, because my brother's like 15 minutes from where the conference is.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to meeting you there if you make it up.
I'm going to do my best to get up there. I'm going to get off here because I got to get my son ready for school and everything. Have a good night,
well, good talking to
everyone.
you, Terry.
Take care, Terry.
Bye.
I'm going to sign off. It's been lovely chatting.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Glad
Bye-bye.
you called in.
Yes, thank you for calling.
I'm going to say goodbye too, and so I can watch again. And just thank you for everything you guys do at Two Family. Really, I mean, you do so much for the small homesteaders, the small channels. It's really wonderful how much
Thank
you
you.
give of yourself.
Appreciate
And
that.
Morgan, I'll see you around
I'll see
on
you
the
soon.
interweb.
Hey, thanks so much for calling. You have a great week.
Thanks. Okay, take care. Bye.
See ya.
Darren,
I'm going to disappear too, folks.
This is where everybody's getting walked off. All right. Good chat with you, Darren, man. And keep it up, man. You just got to keep grinding. It's not easy, but eventually you find the rhythm.
Look, mate, I'm starting to get to that point where YouTube's recommending some of my videos. And it's starting to get some good
That's
recommendations.
the place you want, man. Keep going.
So I'm really happy with where I'm at, but like there's others who get in the chat and they're not sort of at this stage yet, and certainly not at your stage yet. But it's awesome to know that even a huge channel like yours was at our stage.
Oh yeah,
Definitely. We all start.
Absolutely,
It all
yeah.
starts with zero.
Yep.
Yeah, matter of fact, we've got a few coming up here that have made it big time. That we've had them on when they were not so big.
Yep. Next week.
So,
All right, folks. Well, I will catch you later. Have a good evening.
Thanks,
Have a
Garen.
good day,
Take
Darren.
care.
Darren, you take care. Morgan, any last thoughts for everybody?
No, not really. I just put out a new video today. If you guys want to learn more about if ducks experience grief, and actually my video on Thursday is going to be all about sort of thinking about what you should think about if you're thinking of starting a farm or homestead. So, I know folks are out there thinking about that, and so I'm excited to put some thoughts down in the video.
Well, I already saw your video today, so we're caught up with you.
Yep.
Just so you know. And you don't go anywhere, please. You just hang around here.
Okay, I will stay right here.
Sherry,
see you guys. Have a great night.
Any last thoughts from you?
Not that I can think of. It was a great show.
Well, I just want a special thank you to our moderators out there. You've done a great job. We've had, as usual, when we start getting these kind of numbers in here, we get some people that are maybe not the desirable ones. So thank you for taking care of all that and handling it. Special thank you very much. If you're interested in helping the channel, you can click that join button down below. Would love to have you. We send you out different little bit of merch every month, and we certainly do appreciate you. Just want to remind everyone that, let's see, what's the best way to say this?
Here we go.
Okay, well, just remember, a gal's mind is usually cleaner than a man's because she changes it more often. With that, we'll see y'all next week with Roots and Refuge Farm. Take care, everybody. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.